Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Art House. I got a really exciting delivery yesterday that I wanted to talk about. So we're going to talk about hand embellished prints, and I'm going to start with the Sorcery Contested Realm community Facebook group and show you a few things there, and then we'll go to the live overhead cam and I'll show you some of the exciting new things that came in yesterday. All right, so there's a lot of exciting developments in Sorcery. I think we're at it's May 10th today, and I believe they said that the boats are shipping to the U.S. on May 14th. They will be in port, so we're getting very close to alpha delivery. A bunch of people are speculating that'll happen sometime in June, I guess would be a reasonable guess or approximation, by the time they get to port, unload, get through customs, I guess, ship through ShipQuest as the distribution hub, and then get out to, package individual orders for Kickstarter backers and get them out to folks. But nevertheless, getting on to hand embellished prints. This is like a new concept that I'm trying to make a thing in Sorcery and work with many of the artists to do crossover concepts of different artworks in the game. So the idea is to kind of mirror the game experiences where you take two different card art illustrations. Ideally, perhaps as we get more advanced into gameplay and we find out what those key card synergies are, they will incorporate two different art elements from the two cards that have that interaction in a game. But in other cases, it might just be a crossover concept between two different illustrations that a particular artist did. And that's what I'm going to show here. So there was this illustration, and all right, good, my face is not covering it up. So if you look at the sinkhole, and let's go to kind of premise this, let's go to collectorarthouse.com. And if you go to Sorcery Cards, and we're going to look for Mikhail Nagypal, right? And I think I ordered this alphabetically, so here he is. All right, so if we look at Mikhail's cards, and this will load in a second. All right, so looking at Mikhail's cards, one of his most beautiful artworks here is the sinkhole, right? And I might be able to get that a little bigger. All right, so the sinkhole, an elite site of impending collapse, right? Which is the sinkhole here. So the earth is separating and the water's kind of falling into the sinkhole. Sacrifice sinkhole, destroy a nearby site. So the art concept that the customer I was working with loved this particular painting, and he wanted to start with this as the premise, right? So what you're going to see here is a full-scale painting that Mikhail had done, and then he incorporated a new unique element to make it distinctly different from the original. So if I go back to his other artworks, he has this lone tower, right? And there's this really cool, like, Gothic-looking tower here. The lone tower is an ordinary site of introspection. All right, so what he did is he painted this into the background of the illustration, or this new painting concept, as kind of like a dark omen that opens the sinkhole, right? So that's how you get to this crossover, and this is the new full painting he did. So again, you have the underlying premise of the sinkhole, a little different coloring, a little more darker and ominous looking, and then he paint. So this whole thing is a whole like repaint, original painting, right? And then in the background you have the lone tower, right? And this is the dark omen. You see the kind of dark, overcast skies opening this sinkhole of doom as these cows are just, oblivious to it all, just enjoying the field, rummaging for food. All right, so beautiful painting here, real nice message from Ivan, the guy who ordered this, and yeah, it's amazingly fun concept. If you guys want to commission something from Mikhail, you can reach out to me, or just hit me up if you want to commission anything from. I work with many of the artists, not all of them, but a lot of them from Sorcery. So we can do things like this, hand embellished prints, which I'll get to next. And there was a few of those. If you go to the Sorcery Contested Realm community group, and let's do a search on mix, right? I want to show you the hand embellished mix cards. So these are Elvira Shakarova's mix cards, part of what we call the Alchemy 9, or some of the most powerful 9 cards in the game. Some of the community members coined that term. And if I go down here, we did a hand embellished print. Actually, you know what? Let's go to the Sorcery art market page. I may have posted it there too. And Sorcery Contested Realm SCR art market group. All right, so this is where a lot of artists featured. There's, again, the one from Mikhail, the Philosopher's Stone. I'll show the Philosopher's Stone, Kythera Stone mechanism. in a moment. Crossover. Okay, so here you go. So there was different variants of these hand embellished prints, right? So now this one, this is a Jiggly print. So it's a beautiful print on canvas. Looks a lot like the original painting, very high quality. And then there was a series with this beautiful, elegant gilding. And if we scroll through, you see one for each of the mix cards. So it was sold as a set of 4 for the full set. And the other was a crossover concept that incorporated Melissa Benson's gems, right? So you have the ear. This one's really nice because you had this open area and kind of this necklace pattern. Her holding the jewels here around her fingers and then draped down for the jewel there. And then you have Tira. And then finally, my personal favorite, the Mix Ignis. Really beautiful painting. So this is a print, you know, the background. And then this is an embellishment, the necklace, and then the jewel painted on top of that print, right, for the embellishment. All right, so let's get to the concept of the Philosopher's Stone. All right, so we know the Philosopher's Stone. Here it is from Severine. I'll go back to the Collector Arthouse website and go to Severine's page here for her cards, right? And the Philosopher's Stone is one of the most, if you're new to Sorcery, the Philosopher's Stone is one of the most epic and iconic already cards in Sorcery. It's called the Black Lotus of Sorcery. It's super powerful. It's an amazing artwork, and it's just beautiful, right? So this is really, let me go to my Patreon page. I recently shared the inspiration for the Philosopher's Stone, right? So I'm going to go to Patreon, and right here you have a really cool, like, ancient alchemist rendering of concept of the Philosopher's Stone. So you have the 2 elements that Severine leveraged for inspiration for her art piece. You have the Ouroboros, right, as the snake kind of eating its own tail, and that's very symbolic about the circle of life. And then there's some significance here to the eye that has to do with omnipotence, right? So she took a different take on that, of course, and replaced this with the Philosopher's Stone itself as the central element. And in the upper 2 corners of the illustration, she incorporated some artworks she had shown in her book called Sombre, which is a beautiful art book by Severine that you can get. You might find it on Amazon. You might be able to just reach out to Severine and get a copy. I have a copy of that. I featured it on the channel in a very early video that you can go find. It's a gorgeous art book. All right, so if we go back to Severine's version of the Philosopher's Stone, keep in mind this guy, the Philosopher, the Ouroboros, and then the 2 elements, right? So the sun and the moon symbolize, I believe, a king and a queen, if I remember the alchemical history correctly. And then you have these alchemical signs, right, that have some meaning as well. But let's see how she kind of altered that and changed that, right? So she's got the Ouroboros, you know, very different take on the snake, which is really cool. It's a lot more prominent, a lot more, it draws your focus into the central point of the image. And then the Philosopher's Stone itself with these gold flake accents, very beautiful. And then, as I was saying, so these are the elements. She kind of replicated or drew inspiration from that ancient text. And then this is one of the elements from her Sombre book in the upper left, if you see my cursor, and then in the upper right, right? And then she spattered around some of the alchemical elements, symbolizing the alchemical significance of the Philosopher's Stone, right? So if we go now, let's go to the overhead cam, right? And I'm going to show you a little different take. Let me move my keyboard. First, I want to show one thing Severine had sent with these hand embellished prints I'm going to show you is this gorgeous print, right? And this is one of her earlier works. This is from 2001, dated by Severine. Gorgeous artwork of this unicorn. And we have the Autumn Unicorn in Sorcery, which is really beautiful. And this is something, you know, clearly she's really great at doing unicorns, right? I'd love to see this one commissioned for Sorcery, but this is, yeah, just like another print of her work. Gives you an idea of the work she does outside of the game. Absolutely stunning concept, really beautiful print. So I'm very thankful she sent that. So I wanted to thank her for that. And then I want to show this crossover concept for the new Philosopher's Stone, right? And we called this she called it the Galactic Stone, or the Philosopher's Stone Galaxy. That's what Severine called it, right? When we were talking about this concept, we called it the Galactic Stone or the Kythera Stone, right? So she had, if you guys remember, in the early development of history, they had Severine's card Predestination, and it was kind of like a night scene like this, and it had this like mechanism looking thing, which they then changed the card name to the Kythera mechanism. So it's a new concept. If you go and you look on YouTube for the anti-Kythera mechanism, anti-Kythera is a place, it's an island off of the coast of Greece, I believe, and there was a shipwreck there, and some sunken treasure from that ship that was discovered, and within that was the anti-Kythera mechanism. There's what they ended up coining it, right? And this dates back, like a century or two ago. It has some real life ancient history, and they discovered that this was a very revolutionary breakthrough in technology, where the early Greeks were able to use the solar system essentially and planets in the solar system as a, I don't want to say a navigational aid, but kind of like a time aid to tell where they were in the calendar and that type of thing. And it was just very complex, the gears of the mechanism itself. So the machining of it, or the kind of the technology and engineering of that device, was very advanced. And it was way ahead of its time. It was a brilliant discovery, because they realized that they had this advanced scientific technology many, many years earlier than previously thought. So we had this idea, Severine and I talking back and forth, to replace the actual Philosopher's Stone with this Galactic Stone. And you see how vibrant and beautiful that is. This is now, again, it's a print, but she printed this with the Philosopher's Stone completely digitally removed. So it was just white right here, right? And then she hand painted this like conch looking thing, and with this gold, it's kind of not coming across perfectly on camera, but there's this gold kind of shimmer on the periphery of the stone itself, and then the stone is completely hand painted with these different galactic elements to do a symbolic crossover of the Philosopher's Stone and the anti-Kythera mechanism, or in the game, the Kythera mechanism is the new name of her card for Alpha. So really cool concept. This was a limited series of 10 copies, so I got a stack here. Really beautiful and gorgeous. 9 of 10 of these have sold. I think 8 sold to Patreon supporters. I usually do like a priority for these early, or for these limited prints, to Patreon supporters first, and then open it up to the public. So 9 of the 10 are sold. There's 1 left remaining. I think it's number 6. So let's go to that. I'll show that really quickly. They're all the same. It's just a limited run of 10. So here is number 6. It is still available. And it's just a gorgeous artwork. Some of the guys are saying they like this better than the original. They're asking if that's blasphemous to say, but hey, it's cool. It's different. The original is amazing too. Like, the stone is so beautiful and gorgeous, but this is a really cool idea. Really flavorful to combine concepts in the game. So it was a lot of fun doing that. There'll be a lot more coming. I sometimes open it up to Patreon members and do a poll, or just ask folks like what they might be interested in for crossover concepts from the different artists that I work with. And of course, you could always commission original paintings too if you want to do a take on a sorcery card, or just something completely in your own vision. That's something we could talk about as well. Just reach out to me. You can reach me on the Sorcery Contested Realm community group. I'm very active on there. You just send me a DM to Mike Servati, or a private message, or in the Collector Arthouse Discord, and you can send me a message at Collector Arthouse Mike, or michael.servati@gmail.com. So several ways to get in touch. You don't have to be on social media. I think you can message on YouTube. I don't know. I'm not even sure if you can do that, but try it out. Private message me. Let me know. All right, guys. So I just wanted to feature that. Hey, short video today, 14 minutes. Thanks for hanging in there. If you like what you're seeing, if you like the content on the channel, very unique, very artist-centric, please like and subscribe and share with your community, and let's help grow the word on sorcery. Take care, everybody. Talk to you soon.